Welcome to my throne of history. Actually, it's a chair in my living room with a black sheet thrown over it. But in history, you need to learn to use your imagination. So you better start using yours. From this throne, imagination, come on. From this throne, I'm going to take you on a journey of 10,000 years in 23 weeks. Crash helmet and full harness 5-point seatbelt probably required. We're going to go from 8000 BC until yesterday. Back in the time of COVID, there's a bit more history for you. Back in the time of COVID, I made a video for each of those 23 periods for children who were out of school because of lockdown. We're going to start by looking at the video I made for this period, and then you come back here to my throne. You've got it, haven't you? Yep. Come back here to my throne and I'll give you some more information and some ideas at how you could have a go at living in that period.
Try to remember.
I'm back again, and still no Owlbut, but I have got some pictures that he sent, so I'll put these on first and you can have a look at these before I start talking about this period in history, which we're now down to just doing 25 years of history. But these are the pictures that Owlbut sent me of him having some fun with his family in a field somewhere. He says it's all absolutely fantastic, but he will be back, although he's enjoying seeing all his family again. Okay, so let's begin this period of history, which we've called around World War I. And we start in 1901 with a gentleman called Marconi, who was the first person to send a radio transmission across the Atlantic Ocean. Tell you all about that. And we also, as an extra, show you the complete Morse code. 1901 was also the year when Queen Victoria died, and she was succeeded by her son Edward. And we tell you a little bit about European treaties. And in 1906, my dad was born. Bit of history there. The following year was the first Boy Scout camp. And in 1908, London hosted the Olympic Games. We tell you in this period as well about explorers. Captain Robert Scott, who wanted to be the first man to reach the South Pole, but failed and sadly died on the way back. We also talk about the founding of the Royal Flying Corps and the sinking of the Titanic. And then in 1914, the start of World War I. And we've got 4 years there where we talk about what was going on in the World War. In the middle of the World War, my mother was born. Had no effect on the war at all. And whether the war had any effect on her, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. And then the year after the First World War, two gentlemen called Alcock and Brown flew across the Atlantic Ocean, though the landing in Ireland probably wasn't quite as they intended. And finally, we look at the end of the British Empire. We let you have a little think about whether the empire was a good thing or a bad thing. You can make a decision. There's nothing you can do about it because it happened. But whether it was good or bad, I'll leave it up to you. And in the Hoots, written before he went on holiday by the great Owlbut, we look once again at homes, clothes, and actually I can relate some of this to my own family because my grandfather, and I'm going to put a picture up so you can see, always wore a shirt with a winged collar. It was the fashion in those days. But before he died in 1968, he was still wearing a shirt with a winged collar. Big change in food. Tinned food became popular. In 1920 there were 3 canning factories in England, i.e. 3 factories that made tin cans, and by 1929, just outside this period, but there we are, there were 80 of them. Daily life, well, one of the things that happened was that during World War I, because so many men went away to fight, the women had to do the jobs that the men had done. So women started working in the factories, in farming, and in some other areas. But after World War I, firms were encouraged to dismiss the women so that jobs could be found for the men who returned from the war. And many women went back to being either in service or as full-time housewives. And finally, in Owlbut's Hoots, we look at culture. And our story in this period is about the very first motor car and the sort of effect it might have had on a village. That's around World War I. Take a look.
Oh, that was an exciting 25 years, wasn't it? We've gone down to 25 years now, not the 50. We had Marconi sending a radio message across the Atlantic Ocean to start the thing off. And then towards the end of the period, we had 2 men flying a plane across the Atlantic the other way. We had Queen Victoria, died, succeeded by her son, who only lasted till 1910. We had World War I, obviously a bit of personal history, as my dad was born in 1906, my mum was born in 1916. And what else did we have? We had the first person to reach the South Pole, who wasn't an Englishman because he didn't make it. The end of the British Empire, which is not a bad thing because it did a lot of damage to the rest of the world. And that's about it, I think. So, what are we going to do? Well, I think you're going to enjoy this. And depending on how long a piece of string is, it's how far you can take it. Have a look.
Right, this week's Have a Go is for the time of around World War I, and that was shortly after the invention of the telephone, which they didn't use to take pictures, watch films or anything. Basically, the telephone was a very simple device in those days. My grandparents had one of these. I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looked like. You would pick it up, speak into the mouthpiece and listen to the earpiece. That's very logical. Yeah, that's true actually. Now I realised after I'd said it. And if you wanted to make any call, you had to first speak to an operator who was sitting in a building somewhere plugging lots of wires into lots of sockets to connect you to whoever you wanted to be connected to. So that was the sort of phone they used. And it will have been used as well during World War I. They would have had what they probably called a field telephone, so that the men out in the trenches could actually communicate in some way with the bosses who kept themselves about 20 miles behind in large mansions. Watch Blackadder. But regardless of that, what we're going to do, we are going to make a telephone. That idea rings a bell. Thank you. Which will slightly show you the principle of how in those days the telephone used to work and why the telephone had to have telephone wires. Now you don't. Things are transmitted up into the, God knows where, I don't know what it's called, up into the atmosphere. They bang into a satellite and then they're sent back again. I don't understand it. It's way beyond me. I don't see how it works. Anyway, that's not the point of it. I do understand how this works. So we're going to now make you a telephone using 2 tin cans and a piece of string. You actually can use 2 paper cups and a piece of string if you want. So, good luck with that. We'll be back next week. You won't enjoy next week. but we will be back. See ya. Bye.
So all you need for this is either 2 tin cans or 2 plastic cups and 1 long piece of string. You tie the string to the end of the cup or the tin can. It is far better to use a plastic cup. So once you've tied your string to either end of your plastic cup, you need to go and find an open space. And I did this with an ex-colleague I was working with a few years back, and this is the result.
Okay, so this time we're testing the paper cup foam, and I'm going to hold it in front of the microphone so you can hear it.
And here I am, on the other side of the world, talking to you on the early mornings, the coal mines of Auckland.
So there we are. You can now communicate with your friends, even though you may be, well, as I said, how long is a piece of string? So that's the section we've called Around World War. Except,
So this man called Scott, he tried to reach the South Pole,
yep, that's right.
but even I can see that's a ridiculous idea.
Well, there was others who were trying to do it as well.
Yeah, I read the website, but the Amundsen guy got there first, partly because he used dogs to pull the sledge.
Yeah. But why does that make it ridiculous, what they were trying to do?
Well, because if nobody had been there before, then who put the pole in the ground?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Scott found the pole, so really he was the first person to find the South Pole.
They found the pole that Amundsen put in. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Changed history again, haven't you?